两色可选，以本届 WTL 设计风格为主题，足够让你在人群中找到热爱星际争霸的同好玩家。2022冬季赛纪念笔记本记录了12个战队从 CTC 时代一路走来的战绩回顾和每个战队王牌选手的介绍，同时对于世界战队联赛不可或缺的第13支战队资料也被收入到笔记本中。DPG 3冠纪念收藏卡， WTL 唯一3冠纪念王者之师全家福。 WTL 联赛上 DPG 3度夺冠，让人难以逾越。同时 DPG 著名传奇选手也悄然上镜全家福，选手卡通形象巴基，尽管不像冠军战队那样炫目闪耀，这4名选手都曾经在 WTL 的舞台上留下精彩一笔，中间2字当之无愧。 DPG Rogue 亚克力立牌，可挂包可单独站立摆放，为纪念 DPG 传奇选手 Rogue 而制作的亚克力摆件，特邀画师还原 Rogue 职业生涯中的数个名场面，你能认出所有对应吗？2022冬季赛纪念票，本次纪念票延续了上赛季的设计思路，背面则与夏季赛呼应，以星际老男孩宝藏解说黄旭东及诸多名言为灵感，用火车票的样式进行展现。2022冬季赛选手明信片，包含了本次所有参赛战队的明星选手，是否有你最支持的他呢？让我们为他们助威呐喊吧。2022冬季赛战队贴纸，冬季赛参赛战队 logo 汇集一堂，可贴在礼盒的迷你行李箱上，大胆展示你对支持战队的热爱吧。战队赛贺岁兔年红包，2022冬季赛口罩，2022冬季赛鼠标垫，2022冬季赛迷你行李箱，一改往届纸质外盒不宜收藏的弊端，一盒收纳所有，值得珍藏。好了，以上就是我们礼盒内的所有产品，每一位购买战队礼盒的观众将为燃烧的奖金池注入一份挚爱，未来尚未可知，希望永不泯灭。 Hell, it's about time。
大家好，我是 IG 的麦克森的，感谢大家对 WTL 的一个支持啊！有了你们的支持 ，WTL 才能走在现在。然后 WTL 现在出了一个这个礼盒啊，这个礼盒也是比较实用的，而且也比较方便啊。如果有兴趣的朋友可以去了解一下，现在礼盒在热卖中啊。然后最后还是要感谢一下大家对 WTL 的一个热爱与支持，谢谢大家。
What's up guys, Rainer here. If you've been enjoying the WTL so far, make sure to check out the gift box. It's a lot of help for the tournament in general. It contains a lot of sick stuff.
네, 안녕하세요. 쇼피파이 리벨리온 테난 변현우입니다. 네, 벌써 2022년이 끝으로 다가왔는데 올해 저한테 2022년은 작년보다는 그래도 나아졌던 한 해 같아요. 작년에는 이제 카토피체도 예선으로 통해서 가게 됐었는데 이번 연도는 예선 없이 바로 조별리그로 가게 되어가지고 조금 더 성장하고 있는 것 같아서 매우 좋고, 지금 진행되고 있는 WTL 팀리그도 아직 시즌이 끝나진 않았지만 남은 경기 잘해가지고 플레이오프에서 꼭 좋은 성적 냈으면 좋겠습니다. 또 이제 내년 2023년도 이 월드 팀리그가 꼭 지속되었으면 좋겠어서 지금 판매하고 있는 기프트박스 같은 것도 많은 관심 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 올 한 해 응원해주신 팬분들 모두 감사드리고, 내년에도 꼭 스타크래프트2가 그 씬이 이어져가지고 내년에도 계속 뵐 수 있었으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.
coming to you live! This time actually in the wormhole. We tried to escape Kellizer, Diego, the other day, but something ended up messing up a little bit. Please send help. We are here today with the final day of the WTL 2v2 tour. We have the third place match coming up real soon, and a little while after that, we have our epic best of 9 grand finals that's going to be commencing. I am once again your host, Yaku of the Zaku, and with me today is La Sirena de los Pájaros que sabe muchas palabrotas. Light _ VIP. How we doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? Yes, we are here. We are back once again with the final day of WTL Tour 2v2. And before we get too ahead of ourselves, I want to make a very special announcement. If you don't follow us on Twitter, then shame on you. And if you aren't in our Discord server, shame on you even more. As it was just announced, today is Asher's birthday. Happy birthday, Asher! Quack.
Quack!
Quack.
I don't know how old he is. I don't know how many quacks we're gonna be doing.
We'll keep that to ourselves, okay? But yes, today is Asher's birthday, so he's out there living the dream, staying at home, and playing
Golfing
some games
with friends. Yeah.
Golfing with friends. Oh my god. So he will not be joining us here tonight. I think originally we were planning to have Asher on for the finals, but he is enjoying himself with the festivities. So give him some love, give him some support in Discord or on Twitter. Meanwhile,
Ideally both.
Ideally both. Meanwhile, we still have a show to run. We still have our third place match.
Indeed, we do. Two teams that honestly had a pretty good showing last night in their respective semifinals. I think doing a lot better than a lot of people expected, but at the end of it all, they did lose to their opponents, and now they're not out of the tournament yet, but they will have a little bit of a chance to, I guess, show what else they have.
Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty big difference. We've got like around 400 USD on the line here between third and fourth place. So there's I think it's over 400 USD actually. So there's a lot of money on the line here. So of course our players are still here to duke it on out to prove who is the better 2v2 team. As you were saying, they kind of had a hard time against their respective opponents. Both Cyril and Oliveira, as well as DPG, Dark and Hero, did take down their own opponents 4-2 in a pretty convincing fashion. Like, going into this, I think they did seem like the stronger teams in the entire tournament, but now we are here with our third place match.
Yeah, the two second strongest teams in this entire tournament, and we are kicking it off here in the top left-hand corner of Reclamation. We have Skillous, we have Rattata. Together, they are Ratless. Skittles.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Reclamation, we have Ragnarok alongside Zaun, representing Alpha X.
Round. Oh. Always here enjoying themselves, as we can see here from Ragnarok's hand. He has something planned. He's laying Zaun in on.
He's always got something going on in his brain. Whether or not it's gonna work, we'll see. But Ragnarok is always having a good time, and yeah, I'm really curious to see how this is all gonna play out. If you recall, yesterday Skillous and Rattata, they were quite aggressive, and this is a very common opener that they were going for. Skillous is going for a 2-gate opener here, just to have additional units. It can transition into aggression, but it is also quite safe.
Yeah. That's the beauty of having two gateways. If you want to be aggressive, you can make units to be aggressive. If you need to be defensive, you have more units to be defensive. But it looks like that's what they're going to have to do here as Zaun throws down the proxy.
I could be crazy, but I think Zaun also went for a 2-gate opener. So I believe he is looking to throw down a third gateway and be giga aggressive. Yep, there we go. We had mirrored openers from the two Protoss players. Meanwhile, when it comes to the Zergs, we had hatch gas pulls all over the place. Nothing too aggressive. Oh, it's not a third gate. It's a Stargate.
Wow. A pretty big change from what we saw from him last night. This is something that was really common in their match against Dark and Hero. Ragnarok would flood in with Lings, Zaun would throw on a proxy pylon behind him, but usually he always went for that gateway to get a couple of extra, I think it was mostly Stalkers from him last night.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see how things go. Oh, nice catch. The probe is found, and the probe is going to go down in the middle of the map, and that could be a little bit of a tell here. We do see the Stalkers and the Lings are quite active in the middle of the map, but these Stalkers are quite out of position here. They're out in the center. They're going to have to turn back home, chase down these Adepts, and hopefully be in position for the Oracle.
Zaun is sending out another probe? I'm very interested. I'm waiting with bated breath to see what that probe throws down. Oh, maybe it was Swiss Rally.
Oh, no, there is a pylon going down in the middle of the map as well. Here we go. We now have 4 Adepts here for Zaun, so he's going to be aggressive with both both with Adepts and with Oracles. So far, the proxy hasn't quite been scattered. We do see another Stargate opener, but oh, the shield battery isn't ready.
It's not ready, and the Stalkers are nowhere near in position. Oracles were also being made here from Skillous, not Phoenixes, like I was expecting. So these Oracles are just cleaning house.
Exactly. Behind this, Ragnarok is flooding Lings across the map. He has Banelings on the way as well. They have been spotted by the Oracle of Skillous. He's going to try and focus on as many of these Banelings as possible with this Oracle, but I don't know if it's going to be enough here. The Banelings, they all go down.
Yeah, the Banelings of Rattata all go down. There's still a couple here for Ragnarok. 2 left, but they are starting to be zapped down by that Oracle. Very nice defense here right at the end. Neither players take that much worker damage. Well,
Skillous did,
Rattata doesn't take that much worker damage, and yeah, they don't take much worker damage to Banelings and Lings.
Yeah,
is probably accurate, but already this has been a pretty good opening for team around here, our Alpha X boys.
Exactly. They have come out on top in the workers. They have Banelings to defend. Ragnarok has a 3rd hatchery, and from here we can drone. And as we can see, Ragnarok is droning a little bit, but he has to be careful not to over drone here because there are a lot of units on the ground, and at any moment Rattata can go for a counterattack.
Yeah, he needs to make sure he still has a couple of safety Lings back at home. It's again kind of interesting that we're seeing Ragnarok try to attack in the middle of the map here. Zaun will dip in once again. He has 2 Oracles this time, and that means he can one-shot. That's exactly what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and there were no defensive Banelings here for Rattata. He's only just now morphing them in, so he's caught with his pants down a little bit here. The Lings of Zaun of Ragnarok want to try to go into one of the middle lines, but he doesn't commit.
Yeah, he does not commit. Instead, he sends his Lings into the main base of Skillous just to really cripple him. You see that 4 gateway of Zaun being put to use finally. Got a couple of Stalkers buffering a little bit for those Lings.
Oh, yeah, in the end, though, Skillous, you can see the worker count. He goes down to 17 probes. He's down to 1 mineral line essentially remaining here. So Skillous, his economy has been crippled. Rattata is not looking too bad. We do see as map control, he's going to be able to shut down these proxies.
Just like so. But at the same time, I feel like these proxies have already accomplished what they needed to do. Maybe with the maybe the Zaun was looking to get a little bit more damage with that gateway proxy, but at the end of the day, they've both essentially essentially fighting with
Сталкиваем атаку просто, скроем и все.
Oh.
Я тем более...
I was surprised a little bit there. But yeah, exactly. Like Skillous needs time to really lick his wounds. He needs time to maybe even get or be fed a little bit here as they're going to be committing here for a big attack. The Stalkers are moving on forward, trying to focus down these Banelings as best they can. There's not a lot of Ling Bane on the ground to support though.
Yeah, and the Banelings are starting to be sniped by the Stalkers of Zaun. Team Ratless, Team Skittles, they are forced to retreat now. And I'm not sure they can out-macro, or they can macro their way out of this position.
Yeah, we'll see if they... I mean, they're trying. To be honest, looking at the production tab here, Skillous is making probes right now, so he's trying to recover here. He's still down to 26 probes. Pretty comparable to Zaun, actually. A little bit surprising here. Zaun hasn't lost a lot of workers, but he just hasn't been making that many probes.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of surprised. I guess Zaun did delay his natural base a little bit, so he was delaying his own probe production for a little while. Skillous, while still definitely behind, could be a lot further behind than he is.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's not as far behind Zaun as we otherwise would have thought. So he's still quite in this. Then we go a third. Nexus is going to be thrown down to help with that worker production. Zaun is still only on 2-base play. He is going to hit a bit of a stronger timing with Blink. So you have to bear in mind there is going to be a window here where he'll have Blink and Skillous will not.
Yeah, not only that, Ragnarok is starting to get +1 range at this point. He is pumping out roaches left and right. Looks like Team Round really wants to just end the game in one final timing push.
Exactly. Meanwhile, at the same time, it looks like a couple of probes are going to go down for Zaun. It looks like the shield battery international wasn't done in time. And I'm curious if Alpha X are planning to go for one strong major push here, or if Zaun intends to take a third. He's been on 2 bases for a very long time. We see Ragnarok now stuck on 3 bases as well, as Rattata's taking a 4th, so it looks like they are committing to this push.
Just like so. Just setting up a little bit here, trying to go in from 2 angles, trying to outmaneuver their opponents. Ooh. Banelings of Rattata will connect quite well against the Lings of Ragnarok, but I'm not convinced it's going to be enough, Light.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the third base of Skillous is going to be denied here. Banelings are rolling on in, but the Banelings are connecting with roaches, so not the best connections here for Alpha X. Oh, but there are no shield batteries in position. There are no spine crawlers either. There barely is a defender's advantage.
Yeah, they might not be the best connections here for Alpha X, but softening up the roaches just means that these stalkers have a much easier time taking them out. And Immortal is about to pop out for Skillous, though, and that could turn it. No!
Okay, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
It looks stuck for a moment there, but it's all good. It comes out just in time, and it looks like Skillous and Rattata are going to be able to hold on here. They do force back the armies of Alpha X. And what's important is that, again, Zaun was on 2 bases. He's barely just halfway through his 3rd at the moment. And Rattata got away with a 4th hatchery. Rattata is not looking too bad here. I would say he's looking maybe even a little bit better compared to Ragnarok. Oh my god, even a stasis trap going off in the main base of Zaun.
Yeah, even putting him even further behind. Our Team Round now forced to expand, and Zaun, you can hear it in his voice. He does not like the fact that he has to expand it.
Yeah, you can hear it here in the team voice chat. He hates it, Bobby. He's like, God damn it.
Like, who makes a 3rd? God.
So he's gonna be forced to expand. He's gonna be forced to transition. We do see a Bay on the way here for our Protoss players, or Robotics Bay as well as a Robo, and we'll see if they can get into that disruptor production sooner rather than later. I do believe that Rattata will have quite stronger roaches, though. He does have +2 on the way, and I don't know if Ragnarok has invested too much into his own upgrades.
Yeah, that's something we'll have to keep our eyes peeled for. Skillous is going to be the first player to get Disruptors out, and with a 2nd Robo facility on the way, that could absolutely turn the tides. Team Round is getting sandwiched.
Oh, here we go. The Surround is coming on in once again. A lot of gas was spent on these Banelings, and they're going to find some connections here on the Roach Ravager. Is it going to be enough, though, because the Immortal is putting in a lot of work, and that Immortal is amazing against both Roaches and Stalkers.
Yeah, those Banelink connections were, I think, about as good as they could have been, mostly connecting with Ravagers there. But at the end of the day, there's just way too much Protoss here coming out from Skillous, especially with that Immortal.
Exactly, and I don't know if you saw, but we have Disruptors on the way. 2 Disruptors being made at a time here. There we go. The first one is already making its way across the map, and Alpha X, they just don't have that much remaining, and the Nova goes off!
Oh, way too juicy of a Nova. The supplies are plummeting right now for Zaun. Ragnarok trying to pump out as many roaches as he can, but every time they pop out, they just die to the biles of Rattata and the Novas of Skillous.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, Ragnarok and Zaun, they never intended for the game to go on this long. They were going for a kill move earlier. They just didn't have the worker count. They didn't have the foresight to go on ever more into this game. And now we do see Skillous and Rattata breaking on through. The defenses have been broken here at the 3rd and at the 4th of Ragnarok. And there's just nothing to stop them.
Not at all. I mean, they're trying. You got to give them props for trying. But, yeah, looks like Team Skittles is going to be the first one to put a point on the board tonight.
Yeah, exactly. As a reminder, it's a best of 7, so still plenty of games to go. But GG gets called, and Skillous and Rattata take game number 1.
Very impressive. Probably, or hopefully, a good sign for them as the rest of the series goes on. We can see Ragnarok and Zaun trying to be a little bit cheeky here, which is honestly about what we expected, just based on how they played throughout this tournament and also the personal reputations of our two players. But you just can't be cheeky against Skillous and Rattata. They're well aware of how to counter those styles.
Yeah, I just love that at the end of that game, Ragnarok and Zaun, they looked a little bit in awe. They were like a little bit like shocked, you know, like
Deers in the
wet,
headlight.
yeah, like cold water was splashed on their face. They were like, oh, like we can't just clown on these fools, you know, like. Again, props to Ragnarok and Zaun, like. Yeah, they did have very strong pushes, but we saw maybe a little bit of indecision with how they wanted to utilize their aggression. We saw a couple of times where I do think that maybe Ragnarok's Lingbane could have been used a little bit better. We saw him kind of like posturing between fighting the army and going for economic damage, and it felt like it wasn't committing too hard. And at the end of the day, even though Skillous was getting crippled, they were slowly defending and they were slowly recovering. They were taking up behind it as well. Zaun and Ragnarok didn't really have future plans, you know?
Yeah. I think that Immortal from Skillous was what really clinched it for Rattlus this game. You could see Zaun and Ragnarok, they were almost barely able to break through the defenses of Rattata. They were almost able to just really cripple Skillous there. I almost said Skittles. They were almost able to cripple both of them, I guess, but especially Skillous. But then that Immortal popped out, and they were forced to retreat. And like you said, they just didn't have any future plans.
Yeah, exactly. They were trying to haphazardly piece things together and drone when they could and get more base. None at all. And just like that, we have a nice lead here for an unexpected team. I think a lot of people coming into this favor Ragnarok and Zaun for good reason. But again, you know, their 1v1 strategies aren't necessarily what they use here and what they utilize in 2v2. But we're going to be getting into Fields of Death next, and Fields of Death is quite a different kind of map.
It is, but I'll always remember Fields of Death as being the all-random map. I still want Ragnarok to off-race at least once.
This is the map where, if you were not watching yesterday, where Dark played as Terran, he made nothing but Hellions, and he mana-muled Ragnarok and Zaun.
That alone is a ringing endorsement to go watch that VOD, but it wasn't just Dark going Terran. Again, every single player picked random. Dark was Terran, Hero was Zerg, Ragnarok was still Zerg, which was why we were hoping that he would off-race at some point, and Zaun was Zerg.
Yeah, exactly. Dark beat Ragnarok when Ragnarok was playing his main race and Dark was playing his off race. Is where a lot of that comes down to. But here we go. We're getting into game número dos, number 2, this best of 7.
Indeed, we are in Fields of Death. In the top right-hand corner, we got Skillous, we got Rattata. Put them together, we got Skittata. No, wait, shit.
Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Fields of Death, we have the orange Protoss player Zaun alongside the red Zerg Ragnarok as Alpha X.
There we go. Just love that every time a game begins, if you look at Ragnarok, he is just smiling to himself. He's thinking.
Yeah. He's still thinking about Dark, is what he's thinking. Oh god. But alas, we are getting into our game, and so far nothing too crazy. Hatchcast pool from the Zerg players. Both Protoss players are probe scouting each other. There is no forge for a cannon rush, and we have had cannon rushes over the past week in these 2v2 tournaments, but no forge here. We'll just keep an eye on these probes to see how annoying they are, and if they do decide to throw down a proxy pylon.
Yeah, we saw a lot of it from Hero last night. It's being as annoying as possible with his probes, blocking gases, blocking expansions, and even throwing down a couple of ninja pylons here and there, just to try to break the mental of their opponents. And you know what? Looking at Ragnarok right now, maybe the mental is still broken.
They never had mental to begin with, man. What do you mean? Oh my god. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what it is going to be here. I think I love the dichotomy between Ragnarok and Zaun, because like Ragnarok, he's always smiling, he's always laughing, like in comms, and Zaun is like the most straight face. Like
Yeah.
he's like had enough of this, you know. He's done. He's done, papi.
It's a literal buddy cop movie, yeah.
Yep. It's like, Ragnarok, don't you understand? There's 400 USD on the line right now, buddy. I'm gonna get evicted. I need the rent money, puppy.
I needed to keep my washing machine.
This is serious, puppy. This is serious. Ragnarok's like, yeah, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Relax, puppy. Relax.
Trust me.
As Zaun is setting up, I assumed he was going to go 3-gate last game. I believe he's setting up with a proxy gateway in the middle of the map.
Oh, it would make the most sense right now. He is researching gateway before throwing down any of the tech. Yeah, we'll wait and see and keep our eyes on the minimap as Ragnarok is making 20 lings with a Baneling nest on the way.
Yep. So Ragnarok is going for a Ling Bane bust. We see 3-gate aggression coming out from Zaun. I think he's actually going to go 4-gate because he hasn't thrown down a gateway at that proxy pylon. So I don't believe he can go for fast warp-ins yet. Here we go. He's actually going for a Twilight Council behind this. So Ragnarok is going to be hitting a little bit faster. Zaun is looking to go for a bit of a later attack.
Yeah. TTs?
Maybe.
That would be the clincher, you know? If Ragnarok is able to deal enough damage that Skillous and Rattata will have to cut a couple of corners, then yeah, they're not going to get detection.
Mm-hmm. They are not, and here we go. 3 Stalkers are being warped in at a time. Zaun is across the map here. He's going to be able to focus on every single one of those Banelings, and now there are no defensive Banelings left.
None whatsoever. Ragnarok just trying to walk his way in, but the body blocking from Skillous has been fantastic. None of these Banelings from Ragnarok have been able to connect with any probes just yet.
Yeah, but now they will. And you know what? They actually connected with the pylon. That shield battery was depowered. Even though overcharge was going off, it was doing absolutely nothing. The natural base has been broken, and now the Lings are flooding into the main.
And that might just be about all she wrote.
Oh, it's going to be close here. We do have reinforcing Lings coming out from Rattata. It looks like he's trying to get on top of these Banelings. He's trying to stem the tide here of the Lings of Ragnarok, but it's just barely not enough.
Yeah, these Stalkers in the backline here from Zaun are really making all the difference. Just picking off whatever key units they need to and letting Ragnarok handle the rest. It's a pretty good strategy. Or tactic, honestly.
Yeah, and here we go. Another warping of Stalkers comes on in. The Banelings have all gone down here. There's one Baneling remaining for none at all here from Rattata. Banelings, they crash into Stalkers, not Lings, so not the best unit control there from Ragnarok. And it looks like they're being forced back.
Yeah, with those Banelings being spent on Stalkers, I think Skillous and Rattata are starting to stem the tide, but there's still plenty of Stalkers remaining from Zaun, and pretty soon he's going to have Blink.
Yeah, it's going to be a very close hold here. The shield battery at the natural has been repowered. It looks like Skillous is taking control of his own natural base. He's forcing Zaun all the way back. At the same time, we do have Lings in the natural of Rattata, and they're focusing down workers, but they are being cleaned up by the roaches.
They are starting to get cleaned up here, but when it's all said and done, looking at the worker counts, it does look like... Oh, yeah, especially looking at Zaun's worker count. It does look like our Alpha X boys pulled out ahead.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, Zaun only committed to 3 gates, and he was probing very heavily. We can see he already has a 3rd Nexus as well. Zaun, his macro was insane, and I can say the same for Ragnarok. He was able to squeeze out drones throughout all of that. He's at a tech disadvantage because Ragnarok is still working on his Roach Warrant, so he only has Ling Bane to defend. So, at the moment, they are at a little bit of a disadvantage here, but if they're able to hold on a little bit longer, they will be fine.
Well, who needs roaches when your partner has Stalkers?
Yeah, there you go. It looks like Skittles, Skillous and Rattata. They're forced to back off here. They can't commit to breaking this ramp, and Yeah, as a result, here we go. He blinks on him, but now he's stuck.
Yeah, he can't blink out. Oh, yeah,
Oh, God, he has to wait a little bit longer. He will lose 2 Stalkers in the retreat. Oh, he's going to get chased down as well. And Zaun and Ragnarok Alpha X are able to defend against that counterattack.
just like so. They will hold on to their lead, and much, much more as the game goes on. Zaun already planning for round 2. He's getting +1 ground and a warp prism as Skillous and Rattata try their best to tech up, but I'm not sure if that tech is going to come into play, or if Ragnarok and Zaun are gonna allow that tech to come into play.
Yeah, we'll see how this all turns out in the end, because Skillous, he's transitioning into something that Zaun doesn't have, and Skillous, what he's going for is he's going for a second robot, and he's going for a robotics base, so he's getting into disruptors once again, and disruptors can sway things in their favor even though they're behind, and they are pretty far behind. Like, look at the supply disparities right now, especially between the 2 Protoss players. Like, Zaun has just gotten away with so much greed, and now look at just how large his army is.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. Those disruptors, they can be a game changer, but even then, you're relying a little bit on chance. You need to hope that you get the juiciest connections in the world, and that your opponents aren't able to micro away from him.
Exactly, you're relying a little bit on Zaun making a mistake. Here we go, the first disruptor is a couple of seconds away from popping on out. We'll see if the blink is going to be utilized. The first one is going to zone the army away, but here we go, now he's committing.
Indeed, he is. That Purification Nova is very much on cooldown, and honestly, it feels like Zaun is just waiting for it to pop so he can blink on top of the disruptor and snipe him down. GG gets called!
Что у меня бейнов не было в начале, когда они пушили.
Да не, Ванчос, короче, я тебе сказал, это
I agree. And Alpha X will tie up this series 1-1.
GG, well played. Oh, Alpha X applying, I would say applying a lot of pressure. Really was Ragnarok just really committing to that aggression. Zaun with a light commitment, warping in Stalkers whenever he could, but just sneaking out that pocket 3rd Nexus very quickly and just getting so far ahead economically and just snowballing from that point. I do think Zaun was kind of the MVP of Alpha X in that last game, at least towards the end, but Ragnarok did a great job at just giving him all of that breathing room, and to be fair, they were kind of dealing damage, right? They did at first take control of the natural and make Skittles kind of sweat.
Yeah. Which is kind of hard to do right now, because I think it is winter time over there in Europe.
It is. Yeah, there you go. It's sweating is something that they're not usually doing here, but Ragnarok is bringing in the heat, and yeah, they're able to tie things up one apiece. But as a reminder, a lot of that was because of the map. Specifically, there are a lot of, obviously we saw there were a lot of pocket bases to be taken, and they're very safe, and it's really difficult to punish that. So even though Zaun very quickly went up to 3 Nexuses, there wasn't an easy way for Skillous or Rattata to punish that and to try and deny that.
Yeah. Oh, we are being informed by our EU ground reporter that apparently it is hot.
Oh.
Over there. So yeah, it's hot because of Zaun.
Yeah, it's because, yeah. I was going to say because of Ragnarok, but yeah, because of Zaun as well, Times are changing, and clearly Ragnarok and Zaun. Oh.
I will say, well, it does seem like at the start of the game, Ragnarok was doing more damage, and at the end of the game, it does seem like Zaun was doing more damage. I think they coordinated it really well. They coordinated their offensives really well, just throughout the entire time. While Zaun wasn't. I guess we're getting in. Hey, in the bottom right hand corner, we got Rattata, we got Skillous together. They're Ratless.
Oh, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have Zaun alongside Ragnarok representing Alpha X. And if you saw, Rattata has had enough. We're on Polka. We're here in Europa, one of the larger maps, the largest map in the 2v2 map pool, and he's going for a gas pool opener.
It's had enough. It's too hot.
Ooh. And likewise, Skillous is going for a 2-gate opener as well, so they're looking to be hyper-aggressive. This is all scattered, though, by the scouting probe of Zaun.
Yeah, Zaun and Ragnarok, they're going to have plenty of time to prepare the defenses from here. Again, looking at the map, it's probably the largest 2v2 map in the current pool. And not just by the sheer area, the rush distance as well snakes around a lot. It winds, which makes it so that units have to cover even more ground to get across the map. There are mineral walls that you have to mine to get to the other side. Yeah, this is a bit of an odd choice to go for a rush on this map.
Yeah,
at least
and
in theory.
We'll see if Rattata commits. So because of the early gas, you can already see link speed is already on the way. Like, it's already well in progress here on the production tab for Rattata. But he's droning, so it looks like maybe initially he was planning to be aggressive, but because they got scouted, he has opted out. Never mind. I was going to say he was opted not to, but with his next 50 gas, he has gone for the Baneling nest. So he's doing a little bit of both. He's droning when he can, he's making links when he can, and we'll see what he eventually commits to.
Yeah. He's keeping his options open for the time being.
This does mean that economically he is behind Ragnarok. We can see that in the worker count at the moment. Ragnarok is just in a bit of a better position when it comes to that economy, but he will be lacking link speed and Baneling, so Rattata, he can still be aggressive.
Yeah, he's going to try anyway. Just to try to get themselves back on equal footing, but again, it's something very difficult to do. You can already see he's getting swatted away by the units of Zaun and Ragnarok.
Yeah, we can see that link speed is nullified by the defender's advantage of Alpha X. At the same time, we see a Twilight Council opener not for Blink here for Skillous.
And I don't see any detection for Team Roundlight.
Oh boy. Oh, but we have a scouting overlord slipping in. Do we have anything to deny the scout? Do we have any stalkers available for Skillous? If so, he can kill that overlord. But if not, then we're going to get a full scout of the main.
Yeah, I believe the stalker of Skillous, he didn't have that much, but I believe it was somewhere in the natural base. Maybe it turned around though, because Ragnarok is turning around with his overlord.
So I believe the Overlord got close enough to see the Twilight Council. I do not believe he saw the Dark Shrine, but he saw the Twilight Council not researching. So we see a lair on the way, we see spores on the way. It looks, and Robo as well.
Yeah.
It looks like they should have access to detection.
Yeah, I think they know what's going on here. The first couple of Dark Templar are being warped in right now for Skillous, but they are being warped in on his side of the map. Again, it's gonna take a while to get across, and by the time they do, I mean, the spore crawls for Ragnarok are already done. The Observer for Zaun is already halfway. Is already halfway out.
Yeah, we also have, oh my, there you go, the spore was at the wall as well. The DT goes down immediately. The Dark Shrine opener has not done anything here for Skillous, so he's gonna be playing a little bit of catch up here. He's gonna be a little bit behind as a result. And yeah, Zaun and Ragnarok, they can just get away with just droning and taking more bases.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what they're actually gonna do here, because it's very, very weird to hear the words Zaun and Ragnarok are gonna be the macro players.
It's like, they can drone. It's like, well, they can, but are they going to is the question. And yeah, you're not wrong. You raised a very good point there. We'll keep an eye on things. For the most part, Ragnarok is droning. We do see a Forge on the way for Zaun, but we also see a Warp Prism. So it looks like Zaun is going to be applying a little bit of pressure here as the Warp Prism is lined up with Blink.
Yeah. He's trying to, yeah, I don't know if he's going to try to sneak around and try to disrupt the economy of Skillous and Rattata. Surprisingly, they have been able to get ahead when it comes to the worker count compared to Zaun and Ragnarok. But if we look at the production once again of Ragnarok and Zaun, a lot of roaches are on the way. Upgrades are also on the way.
Yeah, that's the biggest differentiating factor here. Here we go. Roaches are pushing out alongside the Blink Stalkers of Zaun. It looks like Skillous and Rattata may be caught probing a little bit too much. They have exceeded Zaun and Ragnarok in those workers, which is great if they don't take too much damage, but we'll see if that's going to be the case here. Zaun is rocking up. Oh, he's going to be able to catch a free Overlord, and the roaches are coming into support.
Yeah, getting whatever damage he can before Ragnarok comes in to meet that army.
Побольше, там +1.
Yeah, it looks like Rattata's getting into the main base. He's getting a full scout of the main as well, confirming all the production. He confirms the transition from Zaun that he is looking to go into Disruptors.
Double Robo Bay?
For War Prison speed and for Colossus range.
To confuse his opponent.
Exactly.
What's going down?
Exactly. It sounds like Skillous and Rattata, they're just letting each other know where they're planning to take up to. We do have a Hive on the way here for Rattata. We do have a Bay on the way as well for Skillous. So it looks like we are actually going to be getting a bit more of a macro game.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I think that was meant to be a second.
That was, yeah. Sound record. The Bay, thankfully. Right at the end there. He is getting a Dark Train, though. There we go. That's the second facility.
Yeah, so his Disruptor production is going to be delayed because of the second Bay and because of the lack of second facility. But regardless, all players are going in the same direction. I believe all players are looking to go into Blink Stalker Disruptor, as well as Hydra Lurker Viper for both of our Zergs. But who gets there first and who's able to make use of that tech first is going to be the question.
Yeah. Who nails the Novas? Who, I'm not sure what the equivalent for that for Lurkers would be, but I know there is one.
Oh, yeah. And I love this decision-making from Skillous, by the way, as he's about to be harassed by these Zealots. He's actually the first player to tech up even further from a mid-game composition. We see a Stargate on the way. This man wants to get into Skytoss.
Yeah, it's definitely a really, really, really good answer against the composition that Zaun and Ragnarok are building at the moment. I mean, the only unit that shoots up would be Hydras and Stalkers, and while they're decent against Skytoss, they're not exactly the most ideal. So if the game goes on long enough, I do want to give the edge to Skillous and Rattata, but it does also mean that he's going to be hurting a little bit when it comes to his production in this in the mid game.
Yeah, you're saying like, yo, going into Skytoss is great against what Alpha X have right now. It's great against everything. Okay, it's just what you want in late game. Period. So this transition into Skytoss is amazing here. It looks like it's gonna get scouted, or at least part of it is gonna get scouted by that DT, and this needs to trigger Alpha X to either also quickly start transitioning and get a Spire and get their own Fleet Beacon and Stargate, or go for a push and go for a kill move before the Skytoss gets out of control.
If I know Alpha X, I'm going to be betting on the second.
Yeah, we can see on the minimap both red team armies are moving across the map here. Zaun and Ragnarok, they're getting into position. They want to go for one major push. As I say that, they're actually backing off here. They're kind of dancing here on the left-hand side of the map, and it looks like their armies have been spotted. Both Skillous and Rattata are looking to reposition and rotate with them.
Oh, yeah, and a very big issue right now for them is that they aren't fighting as one. The armies are kind of split up a little bit, which isn't the most ideal. Ragnarok trying to sneak in a couple of roaches.
Yeah. Okay, he's going for some tunneling claw roaches to harass. We saw that Zaun was poking and prodding, but in the end he was deflected, and this worries me. This tells me that they weren't able to get a full scout of Skillous, and the game is going on longer and longer, and the first wave of carriers, they're about to pop out.
Yeah, just like so. And not the scariest thing in the world for a maxed out Zerg and Protoss army to face. Only 3 carriers, but we'll see how much damage the rest of Skillous and Rattata's armies are able to deal. Vipers are out now, and we can see just how much of an advantage that gives Team Rattless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw there, but Zaun was actually cut off from supporting Ragnarok. Ragnarok had to fight on his own for half of that fight, and he lost every single one of his lurkers. Now we do see Zaun causing a little bit of havoc. He does go for a massive warping in the main base, but now he confirms his greatest fear. The carriers are already out.
Yeah, the carriers have arrived, and once again, there's really not much of an answer here. Such a good choke point to utilize here, and Skillous takes full advantage of that to nail that Purification Nova. Meanwhile, Rattata is going for a massive counterattack on Zaun's base, and there's nothing here to defend.
Zaun's attention was completely pulled apart, by the way. We had a recall, but not much was recalled, so you know what? Rattata, he can stay anyway. He wants to get rid of these roaches. He wants to replace them with more hydras, with more lurkers, with more vipers, so this is just a beautiful trade here for Rattata. At the same time, here we go. Skillous is moving on towards the right-hand side of the map. Ragnarok is going for a counter-attack, and it looks like he's going to be able to find himself a base.
Yeah, so they trade 1 for 1 here. Or 2 for 1 here.
Yeah, so Ragnarok doing quite a good job with that counterattack, but the main armies of Rattata and Skillous are moving on through, and I don't know if they can be stopped.
Well, not without any corruptors or any other answer to the carriers, really.
Yeah, I want to believe that Ragnarok has some Vipers. If he does, then he does have a chance there to yoink the carriers. Oh, he does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
He had some. Now he has 2.
Вытяну сейчас,
Yeah.
вытяну что-то.
Давай.
Или не вытяну.
which isn't a lot, but it's something. You know, they have energy on them.
Ой, я отбился домой.
They do have energy. At the same time, it looks like Zaun is across the map. He's trying to bust on through here. He's trying to push into lurkers, and it looks like in the end he will be forced back. At the same time, the main army, they're trying to get him some of the disruptors. Up!
And they are able to yoink every single one of them and take them out. Zaun essentially doesn't have an army that can fight this right now. The rest of his army is in the middle of the map.
Yeah, he has to turn around, and now he doesn't have any disruptors. There's no answer for the lurkers. We have one yoink. We have 2 yoinks. One carrier is going to go down. The second carrier barely goes down as well.
And Zaun is coming in from behind to support, but you can hear it from that sigh. He does not like his prospects. The lurkers on the ground are absolutely shredding the Protoss army of Zaun.
It's going.
And it looks like Alpha X doesn't have an answer.
Yeah, Zaun just lost his entire army. You can see the units tab on the top left-hand corner. He has 3 Stalkers and 2 Zealots. That is all he has remaining here. Ragnarok is the only one with a standing army, and a 1v2 just is not going to work out in favor of Alpha X. They lose another base. They lose the majority of their armies.
That's micro, papi. Apparently it's not going to be enough. GG is called, and Skillous and Rattata will be taking game number 2.
GG, well played again. Skillous going into that sky toss put Alpha X on a bit of a timer, but even though we were putting a lot of emphasis on the carrier, really they were just pulling apart the attention of Zaun more often than not. We saw a lot of times his army and his disruptors were caught completely out of position, and he was just getting taken advantage of. The same can be said for Ragnarok as well. Like, I think Skillous and Rattata did a great job at finding these fights and working together.
Yeah, it seemed like, honestly, a very uncharacteristically indecisive game from Alpha X here, but I guess that just really goes to show how good Team Rattless was doing to just really stretch their attention, constantly make them second-guess themselves. Because there were multiple times where it looked like Ragnarok and Zaun, they had the advantage, they were pushing across the map, but right before they hit a base, they just turned around.
Yeah, they never committed to anything. Like, there was that moment where there was the DT that slipped into the main base where I'm like, okay, now they saw the Stargate. They saw one Stargate, not all 4, I think it was at the time. But they got a piece of the puzzle, and we saw them moving out, but they were just kind of dancing on the minimap. You know, they weren't really committing to any kind of one of these bases. They weren't pushing together either. And this just gave more and more time for Skillous and Rattata to really solidify themselves.
The mental from last night. Still a little broken.
A little bit, mate. A little bit. And the other thing is, Zaun, I feel like he has to also recognize and accept late game 2v2. I don't know if we've seen him play with Skytoss in these 2v2 matches yet, but like, that is kind of the meta, you know. That is kind of what we want to be working towards. It is just a superior than Blink Stalker Disruptor. That's the unfortunate truth of it. And it almost seemed as if he was unwilling to go for it. He was, when the carriers were revealed, he was still making Immortals. He was still making Stalkers. He was unwilling to transition into more Stargates, into Skytoss.
Yeah. I guess they really do need to commit to something as this series continues, because now, I mean, it's still pretty competitive. Don't get us wrong. It's still 2-1, but I gotta favor, just based on what we've seen so far, I gotta favor Rattless here.
I have to as well, just because we've seen them defend against Cheese, and we've seen them excel in the late game as well. But again, it did feel as if Ragnarok and Zound didn't want the game to go to the late game. Like, it felt like that's not really where they wanted things to kind of lead. So we'll see how they approach things differently in Heavy Artillery.
Oh, yeah. Map with, I guess the bases aren't that isolated from each other, but there's still plenty of open spaces. There's still plenty of openings into the maps. It's a pretty good map to go for Swarm Hosts, not gonna lie.
It is. It really is. And I would love to see some aggressive Swarm Host play. We saw it yesterday. We saw it the day before yesterday as well. Like, Swarm Host does have a place in 2v2s, especially in conjunction with Niduses. We've seen Dark and Ragnarok and Serral all make use of these things. So it'd be really fun to whip it out here in Game 4.
Yeah. Just slap him with it.
Yeah. Oh boy, so we'll see what the plans of both teams are going to be. As a reminder, Heavy Artillery is another one of those maps where the mains are shared and the naturals are shared as well, so early aggression is a little bit harder to pull off. Not impossible, but it is a little bit harder. It is something that is unlikely to work.
Unlikely, but not impossible. And that's what I'm going to be hoping for here from Team Round. But we'll see. It looks like a player did call for a little bit of a break, so that does give them a little bit more time to just formulate some strategies, figure out what they want to do. Oh,
exactly.
I like it.
And
I appreciate the timing there.
they were waiting for you, puppy. They were waiting. Here we go. We are loading into game number 4, and in the bottom left-hand corner of Heavy Artillery, we have both Rattata and Skillous representing Team Skittles.
And if you look over here in the top right, we got Ragnarok, we got Zound. Put them together, they're round. They fuse.
They are. Or Ragnar now.
Ragnar now? Wait. Zag. No, wait. Zog. Narok.
What? What are
Zog
you saying?
Narok.
Oh, God. And this is why we don't come up with team names. It does something out for us.
Yeah. If the team wasn't, if we weren't already called CranKy Ducklings beforehand, I don't want to know what we would have come up with.
We did not call ourselves the CranKy Duckling. These are facts, Poppy. These are facts. Oh, God. But yeah, we'll see kind of where things lead. We were talking about how unlikely it is for early aggression to work, and we can see that here. Skillous already going for a wall off at the natural. It's a little bit greedy, and it kind of helps defend against, it helps facilitate for a more greedy play here, so we can go for a hatch first in a much safer manner.
Yeah, which is what we're already seeing here from both of our Zerg players by the looks. No, both of our yes, both of our Zerg players by the looks of things here. Getting that I got confused by colors. That's what happened.
Its colors can be confusing. They can be confusing. Ragnarok is doing something interesting though. He hasn't spent his first 100 gas on link speed, which is a massive tell that Ragnarok, I believe he wants to go into 2-base lair. Could be going either into an infestation pit or even into a spire, depending on where he uses this gas, because he's banking up a lot of it.
Yeah, he's got to make use of them somehow. And likewise, we're going to see what Zound does to try to support Ragnarok in this endeavor.
Yeah, here we go. We just see a Twilight Council opener here from Zound, so he's not going to be taken to the skies. The Adeptor Cross map does confirm the wall here at the natural base for Skillous, and the Overlord was denied by Zound, so Rattata will not be able to get into the main base. He won't be able to scout the lair timing of Ragnarok.
Oh. Overlord will eventually go down for good. And that should give Ragnarok a little bit of a relief here, as the lair pretty close to finishing up. I'm just keeping my eyes glued to the top left-hand side.
Spire or infestation pit?
Spire with the blink.
Okay, I think so. Oh, let's go, Puffy. Let's go. Swarm hosts. I didn't think he would do it. I'll be honest. I thought he was going to be more sensible, but it's Ragnarok we're talking about. The other important thing, though, Rattata is also going 2-base lair. He went for a later 2-base lair because he got link speed, so his timing is a little bit off, is much delayed. But I believe Rattata should be going for a Spire. There it is.
And you know, when we're putting Mutalisk against Swarm hosts, one of them shoots down, the other one doesn't shoot up.
That's the thing. That's the thing, Yaku. We have 2-base Muta going up against 2-base Swarm host, and the Mutas are going to hit later. That's important. Honestly, there's a world where the Spire could be focused down by the Locust. Like, these Swarm hosts are going to hit a little bit faster, so you're correct. Mutas will win in a straight-up, like, head-to-head battle, but we may not even see the Mutas.
Yeah, where's that Spire located? I think that's going to be making a very huge difference right now. If these Locusts are able to target down that Spire, then I think it's just going to be GG here for Team Rattlers. But if not, the Stalkers of Zound are going to have to work overtime.
Okay, so with the hallucination, they have confirmation of the Spire and its location in the main base of Rattata. But here we go. He's going for the Nidus closer towards Skillous instead. He's going to be targeting the Protoss, not the Zerg player.
How this wasn't scouted, I have absolutely no idea. Skillous was already placing down buildings over there. He already had a probe there to do stuff, but yeah, I guess it just didn't look hard enough, and now the Locusts are coming in, attacking 2 different angles. Plenty of probes are going to be going down. This 4th base of Skillous, or 3rd base, sorry, of Skillous, is not gonna get up.
It will not get up. Meanwhile, we see the second wave being focused on the Zerg player, but the Mutas have arrived. They are hitting the field. It looks like they're even going to be able to take down the majority of these Locusts before they get any damage done.
Yeah, just like so. Zound, unfortunately, not able to really support Ragnarok here. He is hanging back home, working on his own couple of units, and Ragnarok got a little bit of damage done with his Swarm host, but I don't think they've paid for themselves yet.
Yeah, I think we have to say that right now, Skillous and Rattata are looking in a commanding position. With the Mass Muta, they can hunt down every single one of these Overlords. They can make life difficult to get any Niduses up and running. And we see Ragnarok trying to transition. He's trying to get away from Swarmhost. He's trying to go into Hydras.
Yeah, I mean, he needs some kind of answer to Mutas.
He really does. The 3rd Nidus does get focused down. Pylons are being cleaned up as well again. Rattata has full map control right now. There's no way for Zound or Ragnarok to get any vision on the map, and it's going to be even more difficult to expand and take a 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, they're essentially contained on these 5 bases that they have total, distributed amongst themselves. And after that, yeah, I don't really see an easy way for Zound and Ragnarok to break out of this position. I mean, we were focusing a lot on what Ragnarok was doing. I mean, he's getting the lair right now. It's very eventful, but behind all of this, Zound has gotten a couple of DTs. He has his robo facility. He could tech up further behind this.
Yeah, he definitely can. We'll see where he goes from here. The DTs are doing a lot of damage, by the way. Rattata very slow to react, very slow to respond. The DTs are going ham in the mineral lines, and Ragnarok gets a Nidus up in all this chaos, and a Locust Wave is coming in towards the natural base of Rattata.
Yeah, it looks like Rattata will not quite be crippled. Locusts weren't able to land just yet, but he is falling behind a lot because of the DTs.
Oof. Yeah, and we can see Ragnarok laughing to himself here. Rattata, he's knocked down to 35 drones. Despite having all these mutants, despite supposedly having the map control, he has been missing this harassment. He's been missing these Niduses.
High finish up here for Ragnarok, and I'm really liking his answer to the Muta Cloud. 2 well-placed parabombs will just completely destroy this Muta from the skies.
Yeah, 2 Powerbombs will kill every single Muta. That is true. That will happen. But of course, the Vipers need time to gather that energy. Meanwhile, Zound was being very cheeky. He was able to sneak out a gold base, but now here we go. A bit of a 2v1. Zound is on his own, and in comes Skillous and Rattata.
Shield battery does get targeted down immediately. The Stalkers are doing whatever they can, but in the end, Zaun is forced to recall all of those units. Look at his supply plummet.
Zaun lost everything there. Unfortunately, Ragnarok, he just couldn't support his teammate. He couldn't be there in time to help him out. He's going for a bit of harassment across the map. He's going for another Nidus, and he's going to be able to take down a hatchery, which is great and all, but there is still no answer to the mutas. The Vipers still need more time.
Yeah, the Vipers are out, and they have energy on them. One beautiful Parabomb will get these mutas extremely low, but it's not enough to kill them. You need 2 Parabombs to do that.
You need 2 barrel bombs, and you also need no splitting. So a great reaction there from Rattata. He's able to avoid the majority of that damage. Oh my god, Zaun's going for a ninja base in the top left-hand corner of the map. Very cheeky, but again, like, they're up against the wall right now. They have to do something crazy.
Yeah, we'll see if it works out for them, because that base is extremely close to Skillous' 4th.
Oh boy, it really is. There's a Nidus as well for Ragnarok. Ragnarok is getting close to maxed out, but a lot of his supply are in these swarm hosts. They're in these hydras. He can't really move out at the moment. It looks like he's going to be able to... No, he doesn't get the power bomb. Oh, the blink! Ooh.
Yeah, we'll keep those Vipers at bay. Oh! Very great snipe there on a Viper that was very, very low on health, but very, very high on energy. Very high profile pickup there from Skillous, but he is not actually losing his 4th.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like the Locust Wave at the 4th base for Skillous. Is it going to be enough? No, it looks like there are enough Blink Stalkers here. There was enough to just buy a little bit of time. The Nexus is going to get saved. Meanwhile, Zaun loses his top left Nexus.
Oof. Yeah, Ragnarok definitely wasn't expecting that 4th base to be there when he walked his all of his swarm hosts in, and it gave away the position as well of Zaun's base. So just like that, their team round back to only having 5 bases amongst themselves. Not even 5 bases. These bases are starting to get mined out quite a bit.
Yeah, and the goal base is denied once again for the 2nd time. Zaun is having a really hard time just getting into this game and supporting his teammate. Ragnarok is maxed, and you can argue that on his own he can maybe take a fight. Just bear in mind, though, that a lot of the supply for Ragnarok are on the swarm hosts, and if they don't have their Locust Wave up and running, they are dead supply.
Yeah, he can take a fight if everything goes right for him, you know?
Yeah.
He needs to have all of his Locusts landing. He needs to be able to nail the yoinks or the Parabombs or whatever he needs from these Vipers. It's a pretty tough ask, regardless.
Yeah, Ragnarok, he's sending everything through the middle of the map. Here we go, the Locust Wave is utilized. At the same time, Rattata and Skillous, they avoid Ragnarok's army, and they go for a massive counterattack.
A little bit of a base trade coming down here, but like you said, the base trade is going to be... It's looking a little bit more reliable here for Skillous and Rattata.
Yeah, this is going to get real messy real quick. As bases are falling left and right on both sides of the map, we do see a powerbomb connecting! Oh my god, we just need one more automass. The majority of the mutas are going down!
He's chasing them down with his Vipers, but Skillous is looking to snipe the high-energy ones! Ooh. One of them will go down, all of them will go down. And Rattata still needs to be careful with his Mutalisk, but at least they're alive. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Rattata finished up a couple of lurkers. They've lost a lot of bases, but Zaun and Ragnarok will not be able to keep on advancing. Skillous, however, with these Stalkers and Zealots will.
Exactly. We do see Rattata back at home. He holds the line and he denies entry into the main bases. So Skillous and Rattata their main bases have not been compromised. And we cannot say the same here for Ragnarok and Zaun. They're both just trying to come back home. They're forced to run back, and it's going to take them a while. And once they do, everything is going to be on fire.
Zaun is down to 22 supply worth of units and 2 probes.
2 probes remaining here for Zaun. He's essentially out of this game. He has a couple of Blink Stalkers, and it looks like he's going to be able to catch Skillous a little bit here. Okay, Ooh. So again, getting whatever value he can, but he's losing Stalkers in the process. Again, losses that he can't really afford, and the mutas are still going ham in the main bases of Ragnarok.
Yeah, I feel like this is all going to come down to Berserk players just look at the supplies that they have. If Ragnarok is able to take a good fight, then I think he can keep his team. He can keep his team in this game for a little while longer, but to what end, honestly?
Yeah, I mean, it's also something that we've kind of glossed over is that with that move in the middle of the map, Skillous also lost the majority of his army, and he's also only on one base. Barely any mining going on right now for Skillous. Rattata, look at the bank for Rattata. Give Skillous some money. Give Skillous some money, puppy. Ay, God.
It's an investment, Rattata, not a donation.
Shaking my head. So Skillous is out here just like struggling for scraps, and Rattata's like bathing in gold. Oh my god. As Rattata literally has the gold base, but here we go. We have a maxed out Zerg army coming in. That's a lot of Vipers.
I would say this is a 2v1, but or this is a 1v2, but honestly, with how low the supply Zaun has, I think it's a 1v1.
Yeah, pretty much, mate. It's a battle of the Zergs right now. But we do see the Lurkers coming out on top here for Rattata. We do have some pretty good blinding clouds, though.
Ooh.
And Ragnarok is pushing through. Oh!
Yeah, slowly but surely. He still can't press on. It doesn't seem like he has much detection here other than that one spore. So, yeah, Rattata is able to establish a little bit of a foothold here.
Yeah, and it looks like there's just too much on the ground. The Hydras are too much. They push on through. Boys are being forced off the line. Vipers can't really do much on their own either, and Ragnarok has lost his army.
Yeah, Zaun, he's got the smile of defeat going on there. He recognizes just how bad things are going. GG, Team Rattless will find themselves suddenly on match point.
Wow, GG, well played. And unfortunately, I love this comment, by the way. Swarm hosts can go into Niduses, mutas cannot. That is true.
Yeah,
but despite that, when they did go up against each other, the mutas were the better choice, especially because we did see the first Locust wave wasn't quite used too effectively, and that was like the only way for a long time, because once the mutas came out, Rattata, he got map control, he shut down everything. They just did such a great job at containing Ragnarok and Zaun to their corner of the map. Skillous and Rattata, they were free to expand and take every other base, and yeah, that map control really mattered that much more there on heavy artillery.
Yeah, like we saw.
Yeah, so it was just quite a rough start there for Ragnarok. He gambled a little bit going into those Swarm hosts, and then very quickly he had to transition into Hydra Lurker Viper instead, and it's quite an awkward transition. On top of that, Zaun was just stuck on two bases. Yeah. He could never take a third. He tried desperately to take a third Nexus, but every single time he tried, there were Blink Stalkers, there were mutas, there was something there to stop him. And we saw the moment where he lost his army supply and he never regained it was when he had all of his Blink Stalkers at his gold, and he was forced to commit to a fight there, and he lost everything as he was fighting on his own. And I don't think he was ever able to recover from that point.
Not at all. That was also a really crucial point in that game here, or at least for Alpha X here, because like you said, Ragnarok had to go through a bit of an awkward transition from Storm Host to Hydra Lurker Viper, and Zaun had to do whatever it took to buy him that time. Yeah. Once he lost all of his stalkers, it felt like Skillous and Rattata were just able to break Alpha X entirely. They were just able to continue to bully Ragnarok before he could reach his final form, and yeah, when that happens, eventually they would win. I do have to say, despite how little Ragnarok and Zaun had, they were making the most out of it, especially right towards the end with their little micro tricks with those blinding clouds. But at the end of the day, you just can't fight math as much as I try. But regardless, we are finding ourselves on a classic map, Emerald City. We're in the bottom right-hand corner. We got Rattata, we got Skillous. Put them together. We got Rattles.
It's funny, in the top left-hand corner, we have Ragnarok and Zaun representing Alpha X, and they are one game away from losing the entire series and coming out in 4th place in this 2v2 tour. Oh boy, their backs are against the wall. How do they come back from this? For the time being, we see a standard hatch first from Ragnarok, so they're not crazy, they're not going into any hyper-aggression.
Yeah, I was wondering as we were getting into this game if this will finally be the game that Zaun and Ragnarok decide to play it safe. And so far, it's pointing that direction, but we'll see.
We shall see. Very important to take note. A couple of things just happened. One, Rattata went for a gas pool hatch opener once again. So because of this, he's going to have fast link speed. He's going to have a fast baneling nest. He can choose to be aggressive. We saw last game, I think it was 2 games ago. He went for this same opener and he chose not to be aggressive. It was on Polka, if you recall. He just droned. Yeah, he just droned from there. So he's got options. He's got options. Meanwhile, we do see Skillous also going for a 2-gate opener. So if they want to turn up the heat, they can.
That's what I think they're planning to do. I mean, they've got such a solid lead at this point. I feel like if there was ever a time for Skillous and Rattata to do something a little bit crazy, now might as well be the time, as Rattata is getting a baneling nest. He is looking to be a little bit more aggressive. Ragnarok almost blind countering this with a spine crawler.
Yeah, the spine crawler is very smart and very necessary because Rattata, he hasn't made a single drone. He has 16 drones, and that is all he has made this game. He's link flooding. We have confirmation. Rattata is basically going all in right now. And, Skillous throws down 2. He's going for 4-gate. He's going 1 base, 4-gate. Vanilla Stalkers, let's go!
That may just be enough to break through a spine crawler. We'll see.
We'll see. I love that Rattata also took a forward hatchery just so his reinforcements hit that much faster as well. So Rattlers want to end things with a bang. Zaun and Ragnarok, have they been able to piece together what exactly is going on? They're droning and probing here. That's what I worry about. We need cannons. We need shield batteries. We need more than 1 spine.
Yeah, they're droning, they're probing, they're teching up. They do have more than 1 spine. They also have 2 stalkers.
Uh-huh. Oh boy.
And 2 low energy queens.
They do have 2 low energy queens. I love how meticulous Skillous is being, by the way. I don't know if you noticed, but he's actually been killing overlords as they move out across the map. They're trying to keep everything hidden. We do have defensive banelings coming in here for Ragnarok. It's going to come down to those baneling connections. It's going to come down to the angle of attack because, again, Skillous and Rattata are giga all in.
Yeah, if Skillous can even snipe these banelings before they come into play, that's going to give Rattata such a huge leg up here. And Zaun doing whatever he can.
Up!
Snipes are looking fantastic right now from the side of Skillous. Rattata still has a couple of banelings left, still trying to find whatever connections he can. That was, in fact, the last baneling, but there's still plenty of lings here for Rattata. There are still plenty of stalkers here, for both players, to be fair.
Yeah, but the Lings, I feel like, are the differentiating factor here. I mean, the Queens have gone down. There's only a single spine crawler left. The overcharge is popped, and it will help out the Protoss units. But the natural base of Ragnarok is under threat here. And again, that's not enough. Rattlers, they need to end the game here and now. They need to break Alpha X.
Yeah, and they're definitely trying. Skillous just buying a little bit more time for Rattata to get his banelings in position. And it can't quite connect. I mean, it's, kind of weird seeing Rattata constantly trying to fight with these banelings when there are these many stalkers in the mix.
Yeah, and here we go. I think they've finally done it here. Ragnarok lost every single one of his defensive banelings. The shield batteries are depowered. The stalkers are all dead. The only thing remaining here is the spine crawler at the natural, but the main base of Ragnarok is completely exposed.
Yeah, I like the defensive DTs here for Zaun, but it looks like Skillous and Rattata just able to avoid them.
That's very creative, by the way. Defensive DTs are huge. There is 0 detection available for Team Rattlers, and the DTs on their own may be able to defend.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, they're definitely not anywhere near as maneuverable as these stalkers, even if they don't have blink. So there's still a lot of damage that Team Rattlers can do, but they need to find it soon.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be enough, to be honest, and Rattlers haven't dealt enough damage, to be honest. Like, these banelings have to get connections. Ragnarok still has a larger enough worker lead, but the banelings, they get in!
They get in, but they don't quite connect. We see a couple of drones going down. Ragnarok is down to 17 workers, but Rattata, honestly, doesn't have that much of a lead at only 20.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Rattata is still behind but I believe we are forced to drone up here. Yep, there we go. We are all droning up. We are transitioning. We have survived the early game. We are going into the mid game.
What detection does Rattless have at home?
True.
Because
Where are the spores?
ZCCs are
Where are
making
the
their way
spores?
across the map. There is one observer out right now for Skillous, but it is not in position.
I understand the need to try and cut corners and try and avoid spores, but unfortunately that was a recall on the observer as well. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks like another DT of Sound did slip into the main base and was able to force that recall. There we go.
Mate, the Invisible Man, they're winning the game right now. Like, they were not just able to defend, they're also able to attack as well. Zound, his economy is in shambles right now. Rat timing.
And that is not, and that is not great. Zound is the only player who actually has a good economy right now, funnily enough. And it looks like that's going to be enough to just carry team around into the rest of this game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's winning this game even.
Zound is looking pretty right now. Ragnarok, he's looking decent. I think Ragnarok and Rattata are pretty comparable with each other. They're quite equal in certain aspects. So it comes down to the Protoss players, and Rattata Skillous just isn't in anywhere near as a good enough position. He's actually going for his own tech though. He's going for a Robotic Spay.
May as well, I suppose. I mean, he has got to figure that Zound is way ahead when it comes to the tech, when it comes to his economy. So getting a couple of disruptors out can be the absolute game changer. I mean, we call them the equalizer for a reason.
Yeah, disruptors can change everything. At the same time, Rattata is also going to base Muta. That's okay, but I think they may die before the Mutas come out, because here we go. Zound, he's got his gateways up and running. He's got his economy. He's coming in here with a large amount of Stalkers. Ooh, 3 Stalkers of Skills also get caught out on the right-hand side, and they're pulling him back.
Yeah, remember, he does that blink. These Stalkers are nowhere near as maneuverable as the Stalkers of Zound, let alone the Lings of Ragnarok.
Yeah, exactly. Skillous and Rattata being pulled apart. Again, they're trying to be cheeky by teching up and going into things like Disruptors and things like Mutas, but they're being bullied right now, even taking advantage of the high ground.
Yeah, 1 Disruptor, I believe, is out now for Skillous, though.
Yeah, I believe he does have 1 Disruptor somewhere. At the same time, Ragnarok, he's expanding. He's taking a 3rd base. We do see a little bit of just a bit of a run by being set up here by Rattata. He's sending his Lings over towards the left-hand side of the map. His first wave of Mutas are coming out. We'll see if they can get anything done.
Yeah, I already see a couple of cannons being thrown down here for Zound. Ragnarok, I'm sure, is going to have at least a couple of spore crawlers around, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. I would hope he's got some spores, but we'll see. I do think that Ragnarok is the most vulnerable to these Mutas. I think it would be a smart choice to go for him, but at the same time, they also know how far ahead Zound is, and they have to try and slow down Zound. Otherwise, he can just 1v2 Team Skittles. So, we'll see. It looks like the Mutas are converging here outside the main base of Zound.
They are just waiting for an opening, and they do not find it. Thanks to these Blink Stalkers of Zound that he kept at home.
Yeah, the Mutas, they do nothing, and now it's go time here. Zound and Ragnarok are pushing through the center of the map. Rattata, the majority of his army supply are in the Mutas, so he doesn't really have anything at home on the ground to defend.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of vanilla Stalkers, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough. 2 Disruptors are out now, and some well-placed Novas could be enough to put Team Skittles back in this game. I love how patient Skillous is being with them.
Yeah, here we go. The first Nova is going to be going off, and it is going to connect with the Roaches. The second Nova is just going to zone away the army, and that's the 3rd and final Nova.
Now there are none left. The mission packs are done.
Yeah, the first one was okay, but the other 2 left much to be desired here. They were so important here for Skillous, and unfortunately, it's not enough. This hatchery is going to be going down. Oh my god!
Huge blink forward to just snipe 1 of the Disruptors, and he's looking to get the rest of them as well. Blinks back, takes out a couple of Mutas while he can, because why the hell not? GG is called, and Zound and Ragnarok are Alpha X boys. Look at how relieved Ragnarok was right at the end there. We'll keep this series going. We'll take another map. We'll stall the momentum of Rattless. I think that's especially important to take note of.
True, very true. That was very close, to be honest. Like, that was insane how close that was. Zaun, the MVP of that game, to go for the Invisible Man, to go for the DTs. They are amazing defensively in that kind of position because there's no way for your opponent to have detection. And then they go for the counterattack and they just crippled the economy of Rattata. It was insane. Very smart decision making there. And now they are still fighting back. They are still in this series.
Yeah, gotta keep it going. Maybe go for a reverse. No, it can't be a reverse sweep anymore because they won game number 2.
Yes, no reverse sweep, but they can still bring it back, as game number 6 is going to be on Sludge City.
Oh, another classic 2v2 map coming in here, but one that I don't think we've seen that often in the 2v2 tour.
Yeah, we see it every now and then, and it's if you recall, I believe it is the map with a gold base available for both players to take.
I mean, you can see it in the screenshot right here.
Yeah. Oh, that's 2 more gold bases. There's a lot of gold. This was the map where, if you remember, I'll always remember it as the map where Raynor tried to go 3 hatch before pool and died.
Yep.
He went 3 hatch gas and
was
then
really
pool.
trying to take advantage of that gold.
Yeah, he was so greedy and he was punished for that greed. But we'll see if any of these players are able to take advantage of these gold bases, if they're able to commit to any major Ling floods because of the golds.
Yeah, it's something you can really... Well, it's funny because it's like you can Ling flood if your opponent's taking the gold, because the natural is in a bit more of a precarious position, but also if you take the gold, you have more minerals to Ling flood. It's Ling Flood City is what this map should really be called. I think that's why they call it Sludge in the end.
Yeah, it's dirty. It's it's dirty, it's disgusting, it's viscous, and we're about to tread through it together.
Oh yeah, suit up, everybody.
Or don't. It's
it's really on you, but you know, sometimes the sludge, it mutates, it evolves into Grimer.
Oh boy, yes. We'll see who is the one to evolve, and who's the one to devolve.
I think that's what happens. Yeah, mutate.
Yeah. I think devolving works. Like if we wanna be disgusting and just embrace the sludge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get it inside you, all over you as well. Sludge. When you embrace the sludge, you know. It's like
true. Yeah. Just submerge yourself in it.
Yeah. Drink it.
Oh.
Don't drink sludge.
Don't
Unless you know where it came from.
Yeah. Now, even if you do know where it came from, don't drink. Oh god. So yeah, we are just waiting for our players to get ready here. They're just taking a little bit of time to themselves as they are preparing, because Alpha X is Rattlers is still a match point. They still only need 1 more to take the series.
Yeah. And they want to take it. Skillous and Manic. They're coming in here. Ragnarok and Salad are coming in here. In the top left-hand quarter of Sludge City, we got Rattata, we got Skittles. Put them together, you got Rattlers.
You're just saying words at this point. And in the bottom right-hand corner of Sludge City, we have a very interesting opener here. We got a 15 hatch coming out from our Zerg player Ragnarok alongside Zaun, representing Alpha X. They are around.
Around.
There's no D. There's literally no D in any of these words. Yaku. Oh god. There you go. But yeah, Ragnarok we do see is going for a little bit of a greedier opener. Hatch gas pools from Rattata as well. No, actually he went for a gas. He's crazy. Despite having the gold, he still goes for a gas first.
Huh. I mean, yeah. Gotta get the roaches out. I don't know.
There you go. And again, Ragnarok, there's a reason why we say that he has the biggest brain in all of South Korea, not just in StarCraft, by the way. But Ragnarok, with that 15 hatch, he is able to immediately saturate it. And you could argue that 15 hatches are a little bit inefficient, and they are. But because of the gold as a natural, then it does make up for that deficit.
Yeah, at least a little bit. Very important to Maynard all of your workers to your gold base. You do want to immediately saturate that, just to maximize the efficiency.
Ooh, meanwhile, Skillous, he opens up with a proxy gateway here. So they are looking to be pretty aggressive. I say that, I believe Skillous. Okay, no, yeah, there we go. He's going for a third gate back at home, so it is going to be 3 gates all up here for Skillous. Oh, he's going for 4 gates! Oh my god!
Zealots?
I mean, he only has 1 gas geyser.
Yeah!
And he has the gold. Is he going for a slow load all in?
I think he may be. I'm keeping my eyes on Rattata to
Yeah.
see how
He's also...
he might support that. Yeah!
Oh, but he's droning.
He is starting to drone up a little bit now.
Okay, so we do have Ling Speed on the way and a Baneling Nest as well for Rattata, so he is setting himself up to go for a Ling Bane bust, but he did drone a little bit, so we'll see how many more gases are taken. So far, Skillous only has the single gas, so I don't know if he can really support too many warp-ins, but he goes for a Twilight Council behind this. So we're getting some, no, sorry, that's actually Zan. Zan is going for the Twilight Council behind this, and here we go. We have 4 Adepts being warped in.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Oh no, it's not slowly because it's there's a gateway over there. He can still target down drones with this, and I guess it is a little bit more gas efficient than Stalkers, but he will have to be careful about the Banelings that Ragnarok is about to morph in.
Yeah, we'll see how this all turns out, as we do see the 3rd hatchery of Ragnarok is completely exposed. They may be looking to just completely give it up. No, there we go. They want to try and save it.
And the Lings will come in. Banelings from both sides have started to crash into each other. But all of the Banelings of Ragnarok were sniped. Rattata still has a couple left in play, but they are slowly getting sniped by the Stalkers of Zao!
Oh my god, Ragnarok has to be so careful. No! The Baneling connects with every single Ling of Ragnarok. Despite the gold base, he loses everything.
And now this 3rd base is completely forfeit. Skillous and Rattata not overstaying their welcome just yet. They will back out, they will regroup, and they will reevaluate what they can get done. Oh, I appreciate our observer here. Just opening up that unit's loss tab, showing just how many Zealots Ragnarok lost to that.
That's a lot of Zealots going down, mate. Great target firing by Skillous as well to focus on the Banelings of Ragnarok. We do see Ragnarok's actually going for a bit of a run by. He runs past the army. He wants to go for a counterattack.
May as well.
Oh,
he's faking a counterattack.
Oh, he actually comes across the proxy. At the same time, Skillous is the one to take the gold base in the middle of the map. A very bold choice here. I'm curious as to what the gold is actually going to provide to him. Meanwhile, it looks like another Baneling just went off.
On Ragnarok's Lings, yeah. You can see it in his expression. Like, well,
Ragnarok. He just wants to hug Banelings. That's all he wants to do, you know. They just want some love. Love.
Friendly.
Yeah.
He does scout that gold base right at the end there, but unfortunately without Lings, it's not quite going to be able to take it out. Banelings, they do look surprisingly huggable.
They are
so round. Yeah, if you didn't know they had like acid in them, you'd try to hug them.
You would, and then you die.
Yeah.
You didn't know that they had acid in them.
That's our headcanon now. That's how Banelings feed. No, but Banelings die when they detonate as well.
They do. Yeah. But here we go. Zan and Ragnarok, they're going for a bit of a counterattack here. The Stalker count for Zan is incredibly healthy. Skillous is going to try and keep up. Even though he has an Nexus, even though he has a pylon, he does... Oh my god! Baneling's going to go off and he doesn't have a shield battery.
Yeah, despite having that cannon over there. So Zaun and Ragnarok fighting together. It looks like they will be able to... No, not quite. Rattata coming in with a couple of roaches to reinforce. Was able to take out a gold base as well. Gold base of Zaun. So now those Lings are going to be looking to come back and support the rest of the army in this fight. Zaun was the first player to tech up, was the first player to get his upgrade, so he does have Blink available to him.
Oh, he does have that blink. At the same time, it looks like Ragnarok's Roach army is completely gone at this point. It's pure blink Stalkers available for Zaun. At the same time, Rattata goes for another Link Rumba here, causing havoc here for Ragnarok, forcing his reinforcements to stay at home.
And that's definitely going to be huge, but it looks like Zaun may have enough Stalkers to just keep this push alive. Ooh. I don't think he wants to push into that gold base just yet, but he's establishing a bit of a foothold.
He is, but he has to be careful. If he stays around a little bit too long, he may just lose his entire army here. Here we go. Zelta being warped in as well to help defend for Skillous.
Oh! Alpha X coordinating a little bit right now. Zaun trying to reinforce as best he can, but Rattata is finally coming in to support. The Roaches of Ragnarok, though, do push on forward, and that may make all the difference.
Yeah, they are finally here. We have a couple of Ravagers available for Rattata, so we can force some micro out of these players. There we go. Piles are going to be connecting. They're going to be forcing these Roaches away, but every single Roach is going to fall once again for Ragnarok.
Wow. Yeah, despite having less of an army supply, Skillous and Rattata just able to take a better position, force a little bit of micro out of Alpha X, and with that, they won that engagement, but he may lose his base if he's not careful. Rattless pushing on forward to try to deny the base of Zaun, but he may just forfeit the base of Skillous in the meantime.
Yeah, they just made a choice right now. They're like, yo, Zaun is across the map. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. Zaun is not at home to defend. It is only Ragnarok here trying to hold onto their bases.
And Ragnarok doesn't have much. A recall is forced here. Skillous surprisingly keeps his gold base alive.
I'm a little bit shocked here. We had the recall despite the fact that the gold base had survived. So Skillous and Rattata, they can back off if they want to. Oh, no, okay, I went down. Okay. I saw the blob as well. I'm like, I guess it's still there. No, it did go down in the end, but more bases are being taken again. Skillous and Rattata have the map control.
And they're making full use of it. Skillous is not just retaking his gold, he's double expanding. He's denying bases down. We could be in a very similar situation as we were on Heavy Artillery, where Zaun and Ragnarok just get contained on 5 bases and eventually have to forfeit the game, but they are contained with a gold base. I think that is going to make things a little bit different this time.
Yes and no, because those gold bases, they mine out a little bit faster because they have less mineral patches, I believe. So they have to be a little bit careful with that. Meanwhile, we see Zaun trying to go for a ninja base on the bottom left-hand corner of the map. You love to see it. The ball's on Zaun. It's not the first time he tried to go for it. Likewise, these are the units that won the last game for Alpha X. DTs are slipping past the army. They've been spotted!
They have been spotted, and there is detection available for Rattless. DTs will not be able to win the game here for Team Round, but they might be able to force a bit of an opening. Ragnarok now pushing forward with his Roach Ravager force, will be able to take out the gold, will be able to take out the other base of Skillous as well. The tables are starting to turn.
Everything is turning on the table right now as we do see the armies of Skillous and Rattata converging here. They were pulled apart because of the DTs, and to be fair, the DTs are still dealing damage. Bear that in mind. But we do see the main armies are still in favor of both Skillous and Rattata. We do see Zaun and Ragnarok are being forced all the way back.
They're coming in to pincer a little bit. Ragnarok and Zaun are trying to get whatever damage they can get done across the map. But like you said, Skillous and Rattata are well aware that they have the better main army, and they're making absolute full use of it.
Exactly, they really are. Meanwhile, we have to be very careful. The first Nova does come out, does only connect with a single Roach. The Disruptors are a massive deciding factor in this game, but there's only one Disruptor available for Zaun.
And it's not quite in position yet. Zaun wants to be so patient. Purification Nova is off cooldown at the moment.
Oh, Skillous knows, by the way. He saw the transferring probes. He knows something is wrong. He knows that there must be a base out here in the corner of the map. He's checking, and he's going to find the Nexus. And
he will be able to take it out. And with that, there goes basically all of the income of Team Round. But they realize that if Skillous breaks away his army, Rattata is so exposed. And Ragnarok may have lost his army, but so has Rattata.
Yeah, Rattata was all on his own, and he lost the majority of his Roach Ravager there. He was completely exposed, but Zaun and Ragnarok, they don't have enough momentum to keep on pushing, so they aren't able to capitalize. In the end, Skittles, they back off. They're able to take more bases. They're able to try and reestablish themselves. Alpha X are still up against the wall. They're still struggling to come back.
Yeah, I mean, taking that gold base might just be the ticket to come back, but it gets scouted by the Overlord of Rattata. Now Skillous is taking up even further, getting Archon, surprisingly.
Yeah, there's Archons on the way. We've got +3 attack on the way as well for Skillous. We do see, Skillous fighting on his own here. He's going to be losing a couple of his Stalkers. He has to be a little bit careful. We do have to have both teams converge if they want to be able to take a fight. But again, it's still going to come down to these Disruptors. Zaun, he now has 3.
And neither player is really going to be able to 1v2 this. But if they 2v2, I mean, it's still a little bit up in the air with all these Disruptors.
Yeah, now there are now 4 Disruptors, by the way. 2 Novas are going to be going off. They're going to be zoning away the army here. The Archons are left completely exposed.
And they will get taken out. All of the Disruptors are on cooldown right now, though. And this gives Team Rattless a little bit of an opportunity to just keep on pushing forward. The Roaches and Ravagers of Ragnarok are starting to get thinned out.
The Disruptors, they're now back on cooldown. They can now send out a couple more shots, but the army of Ragnarok just crumbles here. His lack of upgrades are really showing in these Roach v Roach battles, and now it's only Zaun left.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know, Skillous has lost his army as well, but I honestly think that the army of Rattata is good enough that he might not be able to push all the way forward, but he'll at the very least be able to buy Skillous enough time to continue mining and to rebuild a little bit of an army. I can't really say the same about Ragnarok.
But what about the Novas? That's the thing. Despite that, Roaches, they have a hard time dealing with Disruptors. That's just how they are. They're so thick, they're so chunky, they're so awkward. More Novas are going to be going off here, picking up whatever Roaches they can. But Rattata does go for a Roach counterattack.
And he will try to deny this gold base. I'm not sure if he's
Hatchery. Can he get the
going to
hatchery?
be able to do it. Can he get it? It's so low! And he will be able to get it with the last couple of shots from that Roach. Ragnarok not too pleased about that, as we can see.
Oh, exactly. Now he barely has any mining going on right now. Same can be said for Zaun, but the Nova goes off! Oh.
And they get so many Roaches and Ravagers. There's still another Purification Nova. Trying to get another Purification Nova in the chamber here. That one doesn't really go off, though.
Yeah, but here we go. Skillous, he says, I'm still in this fight. He goes for a bit of a run by here behind the army. The Zealots, they come in, and here we go. The Disruptors, they're falling left and right.
Yeah, one final Nova will land, but I'm not sure that's going to be good enough.
It's good enough for Zaun to survive with his army. He will be able to back off. At the same time, we do see him trying desperately to take another one of these bases, but at the same time, Rattata, he's going to try and cut off the army.
The flank is looking very real. Rattless, they know they have the army of Zaun in a corner, and they want to converge and take it all out. Oof. I felt that in my soul.
Yeah, one
Disruptor
Disruptor.
just pulling their heads back.
You can see the hands off the keyboard. There's Zaun. Oh my god, he knows the writing is on the wall right now. As amazing as Disruptors are, there's only so much that they can really do for you from this position. Ragnarok, he's going desperately for a triple Roach run by, but there are Zealots at home to defend the Roaches. They do nothing.
The Roaches!
They do nothing.
They do nothing.
Oh my god, and the transition into Zealots and Archons was a smart one as well. It's a great way to close the distance and to try and go for these wraparounds, to try and go for these flanking maneuvers. In a hidden engagement, Disruptors can still work well, but there it is. GG goes off. They tap out.
And Team Rattless, Skittles, Rattles, I mean, it's a team of many names, but in the end, Skillous and Rattata will be taking third place and 400 more USD.
GG USD. Congratulations to Skillous and Rattata. You can even see their size of relief all around that team. That was very close. even though it was a 4-2, a lot of those games went down to the wire. I'm brought back to the DT game. I'm even brought back to this game as well, where there were even moments where Alpha X did have certain advantages. But once again, they had a very hard time expanding. They had a very hard time maintaining their economies despite the ninja bases. And GG gets called. Well played.
Very well played here from Rattless. I don't want to bring it back too much to last night, but honestly, just looking at how this match played out, it really looked like Team Rattless was very solid coming in here. They didn't necessarily have a plan for each and every game, but they knew how they wanted to play this out. Alpha X, on the other hand, looked a little bit rattled.
A little bit rattled, a little bit skittled. Regardless, we are now done with our third place match. We're going to be getting ready for the grand finals, and that'll be live after this short break.
Yeah. Consider buying the gift box.
See you soon.
DPG 3冠纪念收藏卡 ，WTL 唯一3冠纪念，王者之师全家福。WTL 联赛上 ，DPG 3度夺冠。让人难以逾越。同时 ，DPG 著名传奇选手也悄然上镜全家福。选手卡通形象巴基，尽管不像冠军战队那样炫目闪耀，这4名选手都曾经在 WTL 的舞台上留下精彩一笔，中间2字当之无愧。DPG Rogue 亚克力立牌，可挂包，可单独站立摆放。为纪念 DPG 传奇选手 Rogue 而制作的亚克力摆件，特邀画师还原 Rogue 职业生涯中的数个名场面，你能认出所有对应吗？2022冬季赛纪念票，本次纪念票延续了上赛季的设计思路，背面则与夏季赛呼应，以星际老男孩宝藏解说黄旭东及诸多名言为灵感，用火车票的样式进行展现。2022冬季赛选手明信片，包含了本次所有参赛战队的明星选手，是否有你最支持的他呢？让我们为他们助威呐喊吧！2022冬季赛战队贴纸，冬季赛参赛战队 logo 汇集一堂，可贴在礼盒的迷你行李箱上，大胆展示你对支持战队的热爱吧！战队赛贺岁兔年红包，2022冬季赛口罩，2022冬季赛鼠标垫，2022冬季赛迷你行李箱，一改往届纸质外盒不宜收藏的弊端，一盒收纳所有，值得珍藏。好了，以上就是我们礼盒内的所有产品。每一位购买战队礼盒的观众将为燃烧的奖金池注入一份挚爱，未来尚未可知，希望永不泯灭。Hell, it's about time.
大家好，我是 IG 的麦克森的，感谢大家对 WTL 的一个支持啊！有了你们的支持 ，WTL 才能走在现在。然后 WTL 现在出了一个这个礼盒啊，这个礼盒也是比较实用的，而且也比较这个方便啊。如果有兴趣的朋友可以去了解一下，现在礼盒在热卖中啊。然后最后还是要感谢一下大家对 WTL 的一个热爱与支持，谢谢大家。
What's up, guys? Rainer here. If you've been enjoying the WTL so far, make sure to check out the gift box. It's a lot of help for the tournament in general. It contains a lot of sick stuff.
네, 안녕하세요. 쇼피파이 리벨리온 테난 변현우입니다. 네, 벌써 2022년이 끝으로 다가왔는데 올해 저한테 2022년은 작년보다는 그래도 나아졌던 한 해 같아요. 작년에는 이제 카토피체도 예선으로 통해서 가게 됐었는데 이번 연도는 예선 없이 바로 조별리그로 가게 되어가지고 조금 더 성장하고 있는 것 같아서 매우 좋고, 지금 진행되고 있는 WTL 팀리그도 아직 시즌이 끝나진 않았지만 남은 경기 잘해가지고 플레이오프에서 꼭 좋은 성적 냈으면 좋겠습니다. 또 이제 내년 2023년도 이 월드 팀리그가 꼭 지속되었으면 좋겠어서 지금 판매하고 있는 기프트박스 같은 것도 많은 관심 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 올 한 해 응원해주신 팬분들 모두 감사드리고, 내년에도 꼭 스타크래프트 2가 그 씬이 이어져가지고 내년에도 계속 뵐 수 있었으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.